Today, we are strapping in to examine the massive, high-stakes digital plumbing that really drives global military logistics.
Yeah, it's a huge topic.
We're diving into the core support requirements for the United States Transportation Command, or USTRANSCOM, and specifically its Program Executive Office PEOT.
Right.
This isn't just about moving troops and supplies, it's about the technical blueprint for making sure the world's most critical supply chain never, ever breaks.
And POT is essentially the acquisition management engine for all of USTRANSCOM's digital systems. Their mission is just incredibly rigorous. They manage cost, schedule, performance, risk, all of it, for developing, fielding, and sustaining everything USTRANSCOM needs.
They're guardians.
They really are, the guardians of the systems that ensure global mobility.
So our mission today is to unpack the intricate details from their performance work statement, the PWS. We want to show you why these non-personal advisory and assistance services, ANAs, are just so critical. This is not basic IT support.
Not at all. This is high-level guidance that dictates how the military modernizes its entire logistics apparatus.
And the scale is?
It's immense. When we talk about what PEOT is responsible for, we're talking about the true backbone systems. Things like global transportation planning, or GTP, the analytics from JFUS.
JFAST being the Joint Flow and Analysis System for transportation.
Exactly. And the Single Mobility System, SMS, plus the crucial humanitarian system, TRAIC-2ES. These systems manage everything from fighter jet fuel delivery all the way to medical evacuations. It's that critical.
Okay, so let's unpack this, because there's a central tension here. USTRANSCOM knows it needs to be faster, so they're fundamentally changing how they buy and build software. They're moving from those slow, traditional waterfall methods to mandated agile development in the whole DevSecOps framework.
And what's fascinating here is the cultural requirement this puts on the contractor. This isn't just, swapping one methodology for another. It means the entire support structure has to be aligned. Project estimation, documentation, planning, backlog management, it all moves at a totally different speed.
And it forces a huge investment in test automation and those DevSecOps pipelines. The requirement is clear.
No.
Personnel have to be educated and experienced not just in the code, but in the cultural and procedural side of the Agile lifecycle.
It's a whole mindset shift. You have to favor these rapid, small deployments over those big multi-year rollouts.
Right.
And to give you a feel for the size of this effort, we can actually look at the estimated annual workload hours. The PWS outlined 5 main labor hour task areas. We're talking massive support.
Across what? Systems, test, program management.
All of that. Yeah. Systems and functional support, configuration management and test, program management, and PEOT management integration.
But the single biggest request, by a long shot, is for the technical expertise. Task Area 2, that's engineering support, gets the highest estimated annual workload. It's a hefty 64,000 hours.
64,000. And then program management support is next at about 37,000 hours a year.
That breakdown tells you everything, doesn't it?
It really does. It shows where the complexity is. It's in that deep, structured engineering oversight, followed by the rigorous management you need to operate inside the DoD acquisition world.
Let's dive into that 64,000-hour bucket then. Engineering support. This is where the whole technical framework is built out.
And it's all governed by the military's very formalized approach, the Integrated Defense Acquisition Technology on Logistics Lifecycle Management Framework.
That's a mouthful.
It is. It's a highly structured environment. The support requires contractor help across 7 different technical management processes. This is the bureaucracy designed to cut risk and ensure accountability.
But hold on. Doesn't forcing a fully agile team to stick to the rigid upfront documentation that these frameworks require, doesn't that defeat the purpose of agile speed?
That is the ultimate tension. It really is. The sources show the DoD trying to marry the two by formalizing the activities that make modernization possible. So, for example, the first key process is risk management.
Okay.
And this isn't just informally chatting about risks. It's a formal process. Identification, analysis, mitigation planning, constant tracking. It's explicitly called out as critical for hitting those cost, schedule, and performance goals.
So it's not just about recognizing uncertainty. It's about being able to defend the program manager's decisions to oversight.
Precisely. And that leads directly into the next one, requirements management and analysis. This is the process of translating what the warfighter or the logistician actually needs into clear, achievable, and most importantly, verifiable system requirements.
So it's like formalized user story writing, but broken down to the absolute lowest design element.
That's a great way to think about it. Then you have to budget for it,
Ah,
which is where technical planning comes in.
right. Makes sense.
Correct. Technical planning defines the whole scope, sets the objectives, and it provides the quantitative metrics you need for accountability, like earned value management, to predict your cost and schedule.
And finally, configuration management. CM. This sounds like version control on steroids.
That's a perfect analogy. CM's the main method for establishing and maintaining consistency of a system's attributes, functional, performance, physical, through its whole life cycle. It just ensures that what you built is what you said you would build.
We also need to look at the testing phases. We always talk about the difference between verification and validation.
And it matters deeply in this formal environment. It's crucial. Verification asks, did you build the system correctly? It's about proving the system meets its written performance requirements, catches defects early.
And validation looks past the spec sheet.
Right. Validation asks the ultimate question. Is it the right solution to the problem? You need objective evidence that the system works in its actual operational environment. Is it suitable? Is it effective? We should also note that for PEOT, integration and verification often happen at the same time as developmental tests and evaluation, DT&E, right at the developer site, which speeds up that feedback loop.
Okay, now let's get to the part where it gets truly restrictive. The security requirements. When you're managing digital logistics for global defense, security isn't just a feature, it's a zero-tolerance zone, all dictated by the Risk Management Framework, or RMF.
And the RMF process mandates continuous security monitoring. The contractor has to help with developing and reviewing all system authorization evidence using the DoD's EMS system,
EMSS, right.
Enterprise Mission Assurance Support Service. And the people doing this work have to be certified, specifically as an IMMT compliant with DoDI 8570.01 band and MM. Certifications are absolutely mandatory.
And the performance metrics for this are just incredibly demanding. Look at vulnerability reporting. Static code analysis reports from tools like Fortify, they have to accurately report vulnerabilities categorized as valid, mitigated, or false positive with a required performance threshold of 98% accuracy.
98%. That is a staggering requirement. And the insight there isn't just about code quality. It's about the massive auditing and documentation burden required to defend against intense oversight. You have to track and defend every single finding.
Wow.
And they have to rigorously manage their plan of actions and milestones, their POA&Ms, which track weaknesses. The requirement is that 95% of those POA&Ms in quarterly reports must be current, not overdue.
It forces continuous security hygiene.
It absolutely does.
The requirements for remote access are maybe the most surprising part for anyone used to commercial work-from-home policies. If a contractor uses their own equipment, CFE, for remote access, one rule stands out.
Oh, yeah.
Personally owned systems are strictly prohibited. You cannot use your personal laptop, period.
And that restriction is a direct line of defense. It's to prevent external compromise. Right. The CFE has to be STIG compliant.
Security Technical Implementation Guides.
Right. It has to use DoD-approved antivirus with daily updates and get scanned for vulnerabilities every 30 days, minimum. You need a pre-hardened military-grade workstation from day one.
And the urgency around incident response is the ultimate illustration of the stakes here. If a cyber incident is discovered, unauthorized access, data exfiltration, anything in the MITRE ATT&CK framework, what's the timeline for reporting?
The contractor has to notify the USTRANSCOM Cyber Operations Center, the SIOC, no later than 4 hours after discovery.
4 hours. To put that in perspective, a lot of large commercial companies take 4 days just to assemble the team and confirm the scope of an incident. This is a military emergency response tempo, but applied to IT security.
And that initial notification within those 4 hours has mandatory elements. Company name, point of contact, an overall assessment, what data is at risk, and the vector of attack, if you know it. It forces immediate focus triage.
Followed by a more detailed report within 24 hours.
That's right.
Okay, moving away from the hyper-technical stuff, let's look at the mechanism that governs this whole operation, the program governance and admin support.
Right. Task areas 4 and 5. This is the bureaucracy that keeps the multi-billion-dollar machine running. Program management support, task area 4, that involves generating those standard acquisition program plans, tracking documents like the ICD and CDD, monitoring metrics.
And applying cost-saving initiatives.
Yeah, like better buying power, which is basically the DoD's continuous internal directive to force programs to buy smart and cut waste.
But Task Area 5 PEOT management integration, that seems to be the one designed to give senior leadership that single pane of glass view.
Exactly. This task is all about consolidation and presentation. The contractor supports creating integrated program metrics, master schedules, and crucially consolidating budget reports and spend plans from across all the PEOT programs.
The goal being.
The objective is to provide one all-encompassing PEOT budget outlook for decision makers. They need to track financial health and operational alignments in one place.
And this high level of access and influence brings us straight to the requirements for trust and boundaries. Specifically, NDAs and Organizational Conflict of Interest, or OCI.
Right. Contract employees have to sign a non-disclosure agreement because they are handling sensitive, non-public information. That's trade secrets, source selection info, advanced procurement data. All of it is strictly for government purposes only.
And the OCI requirements here, they represent a significant business constraint. We're talking about a multi-year exclusion from follow-on work.
That's right. Because this support role puts the contractor in such a highly influential position, helping the government determine future system concepts, the OCI rules say that the contractor may be ineligible for related development work for a period of 3 years after this contract ends.
That's not just paper. That's a powerful economic limitation that shapes the business strategy for any company that gets involved.
A huge one.
And finally, let's just nail down one last crucial administrative detail. The requirement is for a non-personal services contract.
And this is a vital legal boundary. It means the government is buying a result, the engineering support, not supervising the person doing the work.
So contractor employees are independent.
Yes, legally free from government supervision on the method of performance. This structure ensures the government doesn't illegally look like it's exercising continuous supervision, which would turn the relationship into an employee one and violate labor laws.
So to summarize this deep dive, we've seen that supporting USTRANSCOM's critical logistics programs is just a constant balancing act. It's about adopting modern high-speed development like Agile and DevSecOps, but at the same time, navigating this incredibly dense framework of acquisition policy, all while sticking to extreme security standards.
And the key takeaway for you, the learner, is understanding the incredible rigor behind military tech modernization. They're not just trying to be secure, they're formalizing every single step, mandating certifications, defining technical processes like risk management and IV&V, and imposing aggressive metrics like that 98% accuracy rule. It's all to ensure the complex digital backbone of global mobility is simultaneously operational, secure, and undergoing continuous, if highly documented, modernization.
So here's something to mull over. Given the intense security and that 3-year organizational conflict of interest restriction, which limits the competitive field, how might this rigid, documented approach to technology acquisition actually slow the pace of true disruptive innovation when you compare it to the private sector? What are the non-monetary costs you incur by requiring 98% accurate vulnerability reporting and a 4-hour cyber incident response window?